All right, we got the city marathon training group, which is pretty cool. Yeah, good job. Good job. Yeah, good job. Good job. Woo!
In this episode, you'll learn how to run fast at a low heart rate and come on a run with me. Yes, I'm going to show you how to do it while I'm running. But if you told me back in 1996 when I started doing all this distance running stuff that running fast could feel easy, I would not have believed you. But it's true. And I did that with this low heart rate training method. And I still do it to this day. What you're going to learn on this episode, on this journey: Zone 2 training, that high Zone 2 aerobic zone. You can build endurance with sustainable, moderate paced runs. Warm up, importance, monitoring and adapting your intensity. And of course, nutrition, how to fuel properly, hydrate, electrolytes, all that stuff for better recovery. Let's just go on the run so I can show and tell you how it all works.
The whole point of this, why it's important for me, is I want to improve my high Zone 2 because it's a great zone that you can do most of the season, rest of your life. It helps with overall health. And I want to see if I can run a 3:59, average of 3:59 for the first kilometer, 1 mile of a Maffetone MAF, maximum aerobic fitness test. And that has been on my tick list for the last 10 years. And I was like, you know what, let's see how close I can get to it.
The strategy behind this long aerobic progression run.
So today's run is going to start off with warm-up, always the warm-up. And then after my dynamic warm-up, which I'm usually sweating, feeling really good, I then want to do some sort of an easy, like gentle Z1. I might even walk the first minute or something and just feel it out. It's not even based on heart rate, because my heart rate might go up, might go down, whatever. I just walk into it, then run gently. And I like to do that for about 5 to 10 minutes, longer than I probably feel it. But I've learned that if I do a longer warm-up, I feel so much better overall, and I can get into Zone 2 much better. And then I'll sit around low Zone 2 for about probably 5 minutes. And then at about the 15-ish mark, I hit high Zone 2. And then I sit there. I'm going to sit there for 30 minutes today. And then after high Zone 2, I will look to drop into tempo for, I'm going to do 15 minutes of a very easy, slow tempo, which is in between my marathon and half marathon pace. And that's going to take my heart rate probably into the low 160s, high 150s. And my high Zone 2 is about mid 150s. So that right there is probably, I'm guessing, in the 2 millimole mark, and maybe the 2.5 millimole mark. I need to get a lactate threshold test done in the lab, finger prick, to make sure that that is what I'm actually at, because I'm guessing here with heart rate, but it's all I got: heart rate, power, effort, and it's not the worst. I hear it's pretty accurate, even if I did a field lactate threshold test. So improving Zone 2 and Zone 3 may work. Let's see over the next 6 weeks.
Part 1 update, warm-up complete.
All right, I'm 15 minutes in exactly. So now I'm gonna slide into high Zone 2 and just feel it out. This is kind of boring, but I kind of like it. Today, I feel like, because I got the camera, I know I'm a bit excited, but if it was any other day, I'd be like, 30 minutes of Zone 2 running, man. The other thing this does in this progression pyramid of sorts, because it's actually not a progression run, it's actually a progression pyramid. The other thing that it does, this progression pyramid run, aerobic pyramid, which is pyramid because it goes up and then down, and progression run would end at kind of the high. So semantics, yeah. But one thing that it does that I realize is me talking in this forces me to be conversational and make sure that I'm in Zone 2. So if you want to know you're in Zone 2, you can complete full sentences, and then you can take a breath in between because it's normal, but you can't be gasping for air. That means that you're way out of Zone 2.
Halfway update, part 1 of 3.
One of my favorite parts of this run, we are on the Piermont Pier Broadwalk, and I'm halfway through, 10-minute mark, and well, actually closer to 15, in 30 minutes of the Zone 2 block, and then we will slide into Zone 3. But one thing that I found is as I do more of these, like each like 3 or 4 days, I can feel my body getting more fit in the zone 2 range. With this breathing, I'm probably getting close to zone 3, so definitely need to back it down a bit. But feeling good, so it's always a combination of power, heart rate, and feel. Then I look at my pace at the end.
Future Darren here. So while editing this, I realized that to really make this stick for you, I should have some sort of interactive thing that you download. So I created a free, quick, and easy cheat sheet, checklist, and 30-day 1% better plan to improve your zone 2 heart rate speed. See the show notes or video description below to download that.
High zone 2 training pros and cons, and my random theories.
All right, let's get some things straight that I got confused about zone 2 running. And the first is your body gets super efficient at running certain paces. That is why you do interval runs, long runs, etc. But if you get efficient in zone 2, from my understanding, it does help a lot of areas like easier pacing, slow pacing, and also faster pacing to a limit. I think up to about 10K, 5K, not really, but you do get a better aerobic base to pull from and do more training. But one thing that I found is you can't overdo it because you can go too fast, which is definitely a pro problem. It's one of the good problems, but if you go too fast, do a lot of wear and tear on your body. Then another thing that I'm actually trying to do with the zone 3 kind of sprinkles is I'm trying to pull up my maximum aerobic threshold, whereas zone 2 is metaphorically pushing it up. So I'm pulling it up with the sub-threshold, sub-lactic threshold tempo Z3 stuff, the slow tempo stuff, and then I'm pushing it up with my zone 2, high zone 2 Maffetone. That's the theory. Probably a bit too one-to-one metaphorical, and I'm sure sports scientists will be like, you're wrong, but it does work when you just get out there and you're consistent. All right, we got the Sydney Marathon training group, which is pretty cool. Yeah, good job. Yeah, good job. Woo! It's pretty cool. They got the pace groups. They got everything set up for the Sydney Marathon so that people get used to how it feels when it gets. But doing parts of the course, it's pretty cool. Sydney Marathon's putting it on.
Part 2 complete. Quick update.
All right. That is the second big set, I guess, where that was just a straight zone 2, high zone 2, 30 minutes. And another thing about zone 2 is you can do it on the bike, swimming, weight room, running uphill, but all those things aren't specific to running at a fast pace. So I believe in the law of specificity, and it rings true. But this, that your body's only going to get efficient at this pace and then get faster at it by running at the pace. So if you want to do run walk on a hilly course and you can keep zone 2, that's okay early in the season for recovery, mid-season. But I think doing flat stuff at a high zone 2 at a steady pace, the fastest pace you can run, is your best bet to ensure that I can at least run 3:59 per kilometer, which is bathymetrically allergic Americans about 6:30 to 6:40 minutes per mile pace. Pretty fast to hold an aerobic zone, I think. All right, well, some people like to run straight through the long runs. I just like to take a break, drink some water. Make sure I fuel up. I don't like gels, only on races. Race and training for races, but Cliff Bars are my jam. And yeah, feeling pretty good. Get back into it. I got the zone 3 bit to do. Probably gonna do on a 12 to 15 minutes, see how I feel. And that will be more of a tempo pace tempo, the ambiguity and vagueness of it, but I'm looking to run at a power about 15 watts faster than what I was doing. It's probably about 310, 315 watts. I like watts, they keep me honest. I'll look at my heart rate, take a peek, I'll look at the pace, take a peek, and kind of go from there.
Part 3 complete. Sub-threshold, slow tempo, 15 minutes.
All right, just finished up. Last hard bit, top of the pyramid. That was not hard, but pretty comfortably hard. And yeah, now it's zone 2. High zone 2 for about 10 minutes. Some hills and then easy whatever, just feel it out on the way back. And then I'm gonna do 8 to 10 strides. I like strides at the end. Again, keep me honest. It's like, I want to just plod along, but I'm not going to, because end of the race, and you got to bring it. So I don't know why I'm always racing. I'm always racing. It's life. Life is a race. Life is a competition. So a little bit more on that. I think I really like focusing on power metrics. Guys, again, power is just constant. It's what's being input. And pace and heart rate are the output. Effort's kind of an input. But like I said before, power validates the effort, because effort is subjective. And also, intelligence. Start getting smarter because you know what power you're supposed to be at. All right, quick recap on that. That was actually way easier than even 3 days ago. So I think it's a combination of I'm rested and I'm getting fit, obviously. Earlier in the morning to get cooler, maybe, I don't know about that. Flatter course. Some of the courses I do in the, it's my turn. Some of the courses that I do in the late mornings aren't as flat as I'd like them to be. So yeah, I'd say every week getting faster, just ever so slightly, 1%. Everything's 1%. Kind of like this little area here. Everyone's here. Everybody's doing this thing. Put the camera at everyone's face. All right, let's talk fueling and fasted runs, because I found that these, even though it's zone 2 and I could do it fasted, and I have done it fasted, and sometimes I will do it fasted, that it is not the best thing long term. And it's actually fine during, it's actually my recovery after, like 6 hours after the run, 12 hours after the run. Like, I get super hungry, I get a headache if I don't eat beforehand. But if I do eat beforehand, well, I just drink my calories. Rice milk, coconut water, and electrolyte powder. It's got carbs in it. That ends up doing really well with protein, collagen, creatine, regular protein powder. And I found things are great. So yes, food does work.
How to do strides at the end of your long run.
Okay, let's do 15-second stride. So what I do is I start at about 70%, then I ease into it, and at about 10-second mark, I'll do 90%. And then I hit 15 seconds, and then I'll slowly slow down. And what that does is that allows me to not hurt myself, because last thing I want to do is pull a hamstring, step wrong, and strain a calf muscle, soleus, plantar, whatever. And usually do a 1-to-2 ratio with the strides, and that if I do 15 seconds, I'll do about 30 to 40 seconds recovery, and then I go again. You can do these flat, uphill, downhill, off-road, kind of anywhere. So the biggest thing is that you want to make it like a pyramid, like a ramp, so it goes up, plateaus, and then down. Kind of like this 90-minute progression run.
final thoughts.
All right, that concludes the end of this whole long 90-minute aerobic progressive pyramid run. Wow, there's so many words in that. But yeah, love that you rocked with me this long. Even if it's one of you out there, even if it's my mom. So I need for you to let me know if anything was confusing, anything I could do better. Comment, email me, talk@dlakecreates.com, or hit me up on Instagram, and we can try to figure out how to help you do things like this and the whole 1% better thing, habits, consistency, etc., etc. Let's get this. Peace.
And again, if you really want to drive this home, I made a more engaging and personal free quick reference guide, checklist, and 30-day 1% better plan to improve your zone 2 heart rate speed. Check the show notes or video description below to get your copy.